Hey everybody, welcome back to Blu-Roy Movies. I hope you're all doing really well. I thought I'd do something a little bit different on the channel today. I was thinking about the length of films the other day and how modern day movies, they just seem to be getting longer and longer. 2.5 hours seems to be the standard time for your new release movie in cinemas, and not uncommon to be well over 3 hours. And at my age, to be honest, if I'm going to go to the cinema, I'm going to have a nap or a pee or maybe both, which could be a bit embarrassing. So yeah, just got me thinking really, and a lot of it's filled out with filler for world building for further sequels that may or may not happen depending on whether you've been to watch the film or not. So it could be all pointless anyway. And sometimes I think you just need to get to the point a little bit. So it got me thinking, like, how many great movies there are, how many great short movies. So today I've picked out from the collection 10 films that are under 90 minutes long, yeah, under an hour and a half long, that I really like, that just goes to show to filmmakers these days, they don't need to be so bloody long all the time. You can have a blast and just be there in an hour and a half. I mean, I work evenings, so sometimes in the afternoon I want to inject a quick cinematic boost into my veins, just to fill my cravings before I go to work for a cinematic junkies. So yeah, I picked out 10. Let's roll the credits and then we'll get into it. Right, guys, yeah, so like I say, I've picked out 10. Some that you've probably all seen, some that you've maybe seen, maybe one or two that I'll be surprised if you've seen. If you've seen all 10, well, respect to you, message me down below and you could win a free platinum membership to Blu-Roy Movies and free parking for a year at Blu-Roy Towers. But not really. What you'll get is you'll get some kudos and some one-upmanship over your fellow movie watcher. That's worth more than anything, isn't it? So let's crack on with it. The first one I've picked out is Zombieland 2009. This one's 1 hour 28 minutes, directed by Ruben Fleischer. It stars Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Woody Harrelson, Abigail Breslin, and this is just a blast from start to the end as the four of these characters come together to fight off a zombie apocalypse. And I just like the world building in it, all the different rules. You get the zombie kill of the week and stuff like that. There's a brilliant section with Bill Murray that has me in stitches every time I see it. And there's a final battle at the end in a fairground that's absolutely wonderful. It's perfectly placed. Don't need to think about it. Just stick your brain off and watch Zombieland because it's absolutely bloody awesome. There's a sequel too that you probably all know, but it doesn't fit into this criterion because I think it's about 1 hour 40, but at 1 hour 28, that's a perfect short movie. Next up, from a master director and author, yes, it's Sir Stanley. It's Sir. It should be a Sir. It's Stanley Kubrick himself. 1957, 1 hour 28 minutes. Kirk Douglas is absolutely brilliant in this as this World War One French colonel, and this about these platoon of guys. They were ordered on a suicide mission and they realised it was fruitless and they were all going to get killed, so they aborted the mission. So the French hierarchy, they randomly picked these three guys out to face court-martial, and if they're found guilty of cowardice and desertion, they're going to be hung. Or was it shot? No, I think it was shot. And Kirk Douglas, he's tasked with protecting them and being their sort of lawyer type. in the court martial, and it's absolutely great film. It keeps you wondering which way the court martial's going to go. And if you haven't seen it, I won't tell you how it ends, but it's absolutely wonderful film. Kubrick just cutting his directorial teeth with these early films, and you could see the incredible auteur that he went on to be in this film. Yeah, one of my favourite Kubricks, certainly very underrated in his filmography, in my opinion. Yeah, I really love Path to Glory. Yeah, give that one a watch. Next up, and running in at 1 hour 21 minutes, directed by Tom Tykwer, Run Lola Run from 1998, starring Franca Potente, who you'll probably recognise from the Bourne films. Yeah, this is another great film. Lola, she has got to get some money to her boyfriend because he's bungled a cash exchange in a crime. And this plays out like a video game. Every time she fails to get the money to it, it sort of resets and it shows what would have happened if she'd have gone a different way. And it's an absolute blast. Just thrill ride, an 81-minute thrill ride from start to the end that's unrelenting, all action. It's a French film, so it's subtitled, but that's not a problem for me at all. Yeah, great film, Run Lola Run. Next up from 1986, directed by Rob Reiner, and that is Stand By Me, that runs in at 1 hour and 29 minutes, starring River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, Keith Sutherland, and what a beautiful film this is. I'm sure most of you have seen this. It's a coming of age, stroke adventure, friendship type film, as these 4 kids here take a journey, a cross-country journey, to go and find this body and be the first to find this body so they can be famous in the news. And yeah, just wonderful adventure that just envelops you. Great film. The scene on the railway bridge is brilliant scene. One of my favourites in cinema. Blu-ray looks really nice. I think it's out on 4K now, so that's one I should treat myself and upgrade. Yeah, great film. Stand By Me. Next up, and Rob Reiner again. This is from 1984. This runs in at 1 hour 22 minutes. Starring Reiner himself, Michael McKean, Christopher Guest. This is Spinal Tap. This is awesome. It's a mockumentary, or it could even be a rockumentary about this band going on their final tour, Spinal Tap. They're in a rock band, and it's just bloody brilliant. It really is stereotypical about the things rock bands do. When it come out, there's a lot of rock stars that thought that this was actually based on them because it's that close to the knuckle. And you must all know it goes to 11 because the guy's amp goes to 11 instead of 10, and the guy's saying, well, why don't you just have it 10 louder? Yeah, no, but it goes to 11. And the Stone Age song, it brilliant. Yeah, if you haven't seen Spinal Tap, it's just hilarious. Very British, very hilarious. Give it a go because it's great. Next up, we've got one of my favourite westerns. This is from 1952, 1 hour 25 minutes, directed by Fred Zimmerman, starring Gary Cooper, Grace Kelly, Lloyd Bridges, Lee Van Cleef, the original Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr. in such a stacked cast, and that's High Noon. Brilliant western. Plays out in real time, under 90 minutes, as Gary Cooper's a sheriff of this town and is waiting for some guys to ride into town to take in retribution on himself, and he's trying to get the members of the town, the people who live in the town, to rally round him and help him out, which is not finding possible, so he's having to deal with the situation himself. Like I say, just plays out real time, and as the time's getting closer and closer to noon and is realising how much trouble he's in, the tension ratchets up, and yeah, great western. High Noon. If you love your westerns and not seen High Noon, I'm sure you've seen it, but if not, give it a watch. And next up, Mr. Kubrick for the second time on this list, and that's The Killing from 1956, 1 hour and 24 minutes. Sterling Hayden, Colin Gray, Vince Edwards starring, and I think this is one of my favourite heist films, as these guys conspire to rob a racetrack, and it's most of it's set around the planning of the heist, how they're going to do it, and all that. And it's really, really good. And the heist itself is incredible. Again, as I said with Past to Glory, this is early Kubrick, so it's still honed his skills, but you could just see again like the master he was becoming. Yeah, brilliant heist film, The Killing. There's another bonus film on here, one of it's The Killers, which I haven't seen yet. I must watch that one. Is it The Killers? Killers something? Killer's Kiss, something like that. Yeah, which I haven't seen, which I've got to get round to. Next up, we're back to British movies, and that's Sightseers, directed by Ben Wheatley, from 2012, and 1 hour 28 minutes long, starring Steve Oram and Alice Lowe. Brilliant dark comedy. This couple here, they take a trip round the country in their camper van, visiting all these tourist attractions, and it goes wrong, and it turns into a murderous spree. And like I say, it's really dark, really gruesome, but it's bloody brilliant. It's awesome film. Yeah, give that one a watch, because I'm sure you'll enjoy it, especially if you like your British films. And like me, I love a road movie, especially around Britain, to the coast and stuff like that. Yeah, excellent stuff, Sightseers. And another British film and animation. I don't normally do animation, but I love this one. I think this is great. And that is When the Wind Blows, from 1986, directed by Jimmy Murakami and written by Raymond Briggs. Now, you might recognise the art style there, because it's the same guy who did The Snowman. This is stars Peggy Ashcroft and the brilliant John Mills, as ever, as Mr. and Mrs. Bloggs. An old age couple that at the start of a nuclear war, them trying to survive, and how they think if they make a cup of tea and just they'll be fine. It's very grim, it's very depressing, but it's wonderful. It was made in the time of like the Cold War, when this was on the news all the time. Yeah, it was quite terrifying growing up in Britain at that time. Because the way they spoke on the news, you thought it was imminent that a nuclear war was going to break out, and they told you you'd be fine if you sat under your kitchen table, which is absolutely bloody rubbish. But yeah, great animation, very bleak, but really, really good stuff. And last but no means least, because this is a brilliant film, a French film, La Silence de la Mer, which I think translates to The Silence of the Sea. This is directed by Jean-Pierre Melville, who's a director. I've got to see more of his stuff, because this is the only one I've seen and it's brilliant. And he's got a filmography of rated film after rated film. This is 1949, so I think it was the oldest on this list. 1 hour 27 minutes. It stars Howard Vernon as this German lieutenant, Jean-Marie Rabin as an uncle who lives in this house, and Nicole Stefan as his niece. This is set in occupied France in World War II, and the German officer, he goes and lives in this house that this uncle and niece live in, and of course they have no choice because they're occupied by the Nazis. And if the Nazis say that this guy's coming to live with you, he comes and lives with you whether you like it or not. And the uncle and the niece, they decide in a passive way of aggression, kind of, to not speak to this lieutenant while he's under their roof. And so they take a pact of silence, so every round they won't speak to him. But the thing is, this lieutenant is actually a really nice guy, and does he manage to break them down at all? That's what all the film's about, which doesn't sound that interesting, but it's really well acted and it's really interesting, and I really love this film, and I'm due a rewatch of it. Yeah, that's La Silence de la Mer. Great, great, great Second World War film. So that's it. Yep, 10 films for you there, guys. God, I haven't had my morning coffee yet. 10 films for you there. Under an hour and a half long. All Great films. Just goes to prove that you don't need to sit in a cinema for 3 hours to be entertained, because these are wonderful. Thanks for watching, guys. Give me a thumbs up. If you've liked what I've done here today, maybe thinking about subscribing. The subs are gently going up, which is absolutely wonderful. Loving your comments. That's the best bit about doing this. But most importantly, keep watching movies. See you later.